Welcome to Season 2, Episode 12 of the Film Bros Championship Podcast. I am Tim, and with me is my co-host Patrick. You suck, buddy.
God damn, these people are confusing.
I have reaffirmed my utter commitment to David Lynch sucks.
No.
And I'm sorry. I can't stand this MFer. It's so pretentious. Look how smart I am. I'm going to confuse you, but this means this, but it could also mean this, and it's going to be on 3 other levels. But don't worry, I actually don't do drugs. I'm just a whole other plane because I went to art school. I dislike this man.
Okay.
Just putting it out there.
I like him.
I know you do.
He doesn't always work for me, but and I don't love this movie. I really enjoyed Twin Peaks the show. I enjoyed Twin Peaks The Return, even though I had my issues with it. And this movie, I think, is the worst of all the Twin Peaks content, but there's still stuff I like in it. So, while David Lynch doesn't work on an A to B, C narrative level, almost. Ever. The Elephant Man was pretty down the middle, and Dune and Blue Velvet. Great movies. This one is, it's obtuse at times, but there's still stuff I really like in this movie. There really is. Ugh. And it's funny, since this is your only interaction with the Twin Peaks universe. Yeah, I can't imagine what you thought watching this. I really couldn't.
To be honest,
it's technically a prequel, so it's like
I really dislike, obviously, Lynch to begin with, and right. One of the movies that really set me off, even though people love it, is Mulholland Drive.
Yeah, I love that movie.
I hated that movie because I was like, oh wow, this movie's really cool, it's really interesting, I'm curious where this is gonna go, and then it just completely just goes into nutso land, and nothing makes any sense, and old people yelling as they're running out of a trash can, and it's gobbledygook nonsense, and it's that throughout a whole freaking movie in this, and
symbolism, Tim.
Oh my gosh,
metaphor. I'm
pretty sure I understood everything.
Oh wow, okay.
I actually think or at least most of it. There are times where I was like, nope, no idea. That was just stupid. Like Bowie.
Yep. Yeah, Agent Philip Jeffries. Yeah.
None of that made a lick of sense.
You know what? It still doesn't.
Thank you for at least confirming that.
It makes
because
a little
I really hate when David Lynch fans be like, "You just don't understand." I'm like, I gonna punch you in the face.
I don't think any David Lynch fan can watch Twin Peaks Fire Walk or any of the Twin Peaks stuff and says, "I have a 100% grasp on everything that's going on at all times." They're a liar, and that's kind of half the fun of the show, is trying to figure out what the heck everything's supposed to mean. We still don't have all the answers, even with the Return series. But yeah, Bowie's...
Well, I guess before we get into that, right, this is your pick, so you should do the... please give me a synopsis of this garbage.
Okay. This is the sad and final last days of the life of Laura Palmer, a victim of incest, and unfortunately she also happens to live in the town of Twin Peaks, which has lots of mystical goings-ons, and she rubs into that, and it's a sad movie.
That's an interesting description.
Yeah.
You really don't give much there at all.
Well, I don't want to.
Not does the movie gives much.
Honestly, going beat for beat on this movie is utterly pointless. I mean, unless you were doing a commentary for a movie.
Well, kind of brings me to the next thing, right? Because so I was taking my notes on this movie as I usually take notes, right?
This movie's kind of impossible to take notes on. I've seen it. This is my second time seeing it.
Yeah,
and you can't look away. You're always looking at what? So that's kind of what's interesting about it. Lynch is like, he can absolutely confound you, but you don't want to look away either.
I have to say I didn't pause because I had to like catch up taking notes. You know,
Sure.
I've had that problem where I'm like, oh no, I got to pause. There's so much I have to write here. This movie, I had to pause to calm myself down because my notes eventually turned into WTF, why? What the like? And then like I want to punch something is what my notes turned into, and then I just had to pause and be like, ooh. So eventually, I was staring at having to organize my notes, and I said, "F you, I'm not gonna do it." So I didn't. I just stopped, and I'm gonna start us off by saying, Patrick, who was the villain and who was the hero? Who, more importantly, who was the hero? Who's the hero?
Laura Palmer.
Are we sure?
Yes.
Sure.
Like, what? 70% of this movie is about her. And
I guess
her tragedy.
There's that whole beginning part where you think you have heroes, and then
yeah, the prologue, which shows like a year before, they find a body floating down the river.
right.
Much similar to the way the original series opens, but this takes place, like I said, a year before. A different girl is found, and Agent Chester Desmond is put on the case, played by Chris Isaac, and he sucks.
What? What's with the whole how he was dispatched, the woman in the dress thing giving symbols, and why any of that is necessary?
Well, beat for beat.
Why?
Okay. Why was he dispatched? He was part of the Blue Rose team, which is basically David Lynch's X-Files. This part of the FBI searches down supernatural things.
Is that part of the show?
That gets explained in the return. See, the thing with this movie, it was supposed to be the first of a trilogy, so a lot of the stuff is not explained purposely because like, oh, we're setting this up for later. Stupid move, obviously, because it doesn't always work out. But you can see like David Lynch was, this movie opens with a television getting busted up because he's a little angry about how things ended with the show.
I actually liked that. I'm not going to say nice things very often about this movie, but I did like how the credits abruptly goes to bashing the television and some screaming, and I was like, oh, okay.
Which later on we find out is the murder of the, I forget her name, the original murder victim from the year before.
Right. That's basically her getting killed or whatever, right? And
yeah.
I mean,
by Bob, by Leland Palmer, a.k.a. Bob.
Which there's also a Bobby.
Yes, there's a Bobby,
not
Laura's
to,
boyfriend.
Try to confuse you anymore. Let's throw in that similarity there.
Well,
could you also tell me, maybe this is stepping into villain too much, is the one-armed man thing in the television show?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Mike. Yep, he's there.
Because Mike is not really in the movie a whole lot, almost at all. Maybe mentioned more than anything. And then he's just there at a major moment at the end. So I'm like, I don't know. I have no connection here. I had to read up on like Wikipedia and be like, oh, okay. Thanks for cluing me in on that one.
Yeah. He was in the original show.
This movie sucked.
You know what? It's not my lowest ranked movie of the year that we've done.
That's baffling.
Sorry. I don't have it as the highest or in my top 5, but it's definitely not the lowest.
Speaking of hero category, I guess too.
Laura.
Well, no, she's not. But anyway.
Yes, she is.
I don't see how. But okay. I guess the only thing that she really did that was that heroic.
Well, she is the star of the movie. That she has more scenes than anyone else. She is the star, and she's not a villain. So by default, she ends up in the hero category. This is the slow, sad story of someone
really
who has been victimized, and
and she's really
technically at this end of this movie, you could say she finds some sort of peace when she sees the angel and everything like that. But
Yeah, I guess. Right.
Having watched
if
the sequel
anything,
series,
trying
it's not really
to get
true.
her friend out of the club was
There you
probably the
go.
most heroic thing that she does.
Didn't want Donna to become just like her.
Trying to keep James, I guess, away from her.
Yeah.
Maybe heroic. I don't know. But it's pretty. Like, obviously, she's a tortured person, right? So she is.
Being raped since the age of 12 will do that to you.
Was it that young? I mean,
Yeah, when she first encounters her friend Harold, after she finds her diary's been read and pages torn out.
Is that the person she drives to randomly in a cabin somewhere?
Yeah. He was also in the TV show.
Yeah, that was like one scene thing that was like, okay, I'm not really sure who that was or anything, but okay.
Yeah, Harold is an agoraphobic that she met while delivering Meals on Wheels.
Okay.
And they became friends. And she told him all about his problem. I guess, it felt safe to tell him because he literally can't go out and tell anybody else what she's going through. Anyway.
I wanted to ask you about Kiefer.
Not in the television show.
I didn't think so. I feel like it's weird. We like Kiefer Sutherland for a very long time is either kind of a badass or a nerd. And maybe Young Guns is the only time where he's kind of both.
Good point.
But other than that, it's either those two archetypes for him.
Yeah, he's playing either an SOB or
right.
A bit of a neppish guy. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then here he's playing like a small kind of nerdish dweeb again.
Honestly, it's painful to watch him act against Chris Isaac because Chris Isaac is given nothing. He's just so wooden and terrible in this movie.
You know what was also terrible during all of that prologue? Is the non-stop jazz music.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
There's jazz music playing.
Oh, yeah.
There's music in the background, jazz music going every second of that prologue. That it and I have several notes of that where I'm like, this is irritating. I need this to stop. It's going over jokes and dialogue that is like, it's so distracting. And
I never had an issue with it.
Oh my God. I remember being like in my notes too, like, oh my God, it stopped. There's no more. And I'm not like a jazz music hater by any means. It's just, oh God, I hate this movie. It sucks.
Anyway.
Okay, so, I don't know. I forget the actress's name.
Cheryl Lee, Laura Palmer? Is that what you're talking
about? Yeah, as much as I hate this movie, every fiber of its being, and I mean, yeah, she's a victim character, but she's actually doing a really good job. Like, I think acting-wise, I thought she was good in it.
It's a good performance. It's a tough performance, too, because it's tough to do this, the Twin Peaks thing, because not everyone can find the rhythm. Just ask Chris Isaac. Right. God, he sucked. You have to be melodramatic and over the top.
Right.
While also, but not being cringy. And some people are great at it, can absolutely pick up that tempo, and some people are Chris Isaac. And she does really, really good job.
Yeah,
and your heart breaks for her the whole time.
Yeah, especially as you kind of realize it more and more as you're kind of going through both of them kind of going disassociated states type of deal. But yeah, you understand her motives on why she's basically a degenerate, basically. Why she's
addicted to cocaine.
She's addicted to coke. She's a teenage prostitute.
Mm-hmm.
Sleeping around. She clearly seems to be only sleeping with Bobby to get her coke fix.
Mm-hmm.
Which time
he tragically realizes near the end.
Yeah,
it's
but he seemed to be still okay with it. He's like,
well, he loves her. He's like, I'm gonna keep on hooking you up, and it's just like, oh,
yeah.
And it's funny, Bobby. When you first meet Bobby on the show, he like hardcore sucks, and they do a sort of redemption for him, and then by the return, he's like, mostly a stand-up dude.
Huh?
Becomes a cop. Yeah.
Yeah, and like every like I don't know why there's like several scenes where she gets to make out with the bartender, and it's
With the bartender.
yeah, with the bartender, the guy that like basically looks to be the pimp almost.
Oh, Jacques?
Yeah, I
The
think
big
so.
dude?
Yeah, the big dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
And yeah, there's several like makeout sessions, which I guess luckily she didn't. Even though she dies, she doesn't get raped by him, but clearly he's probably already had sex with her.
I'm not sure she didn't, but yeah.
Well, because I think they probably did. Her big issue was not being tied up.
Right. No, I think he did rape her anyway afterward. Tied her up. Because when Leland comes in, she is tied up.
Right, but you think I think she didn't get finished to be tied up by Leland.
No, she definitely got finished tied. She was definitely tied up all the way. Because that's when Leland came in and took her and Teresa and
because
Teresa, the other
he
girl.
goes out to inspect something and that's when he knocks.
But he's like pulling up his pants and everything. So I just assumed he was done and she was tied up.
Oh,
so.
I didn't notice. I thought he just didn't get to it yet. I didn't think there was enough time.
Well, that's more hopeful that she didn't get raped right before she died. Let's hope for that.
Right? I mean, it's not like she didn't get raped several times in the movie.
Yep.
So it's and it's pretty messed up and like she definitely gets naked a whole lot. Dear Lord. And every time it's in upsetting ways where like I don't.
It starts off innocent enough with James in the hallway where she's just like in nothing but a towel.
I don't think that was in the hallway. It was like in a garage or something. You know, like
it was in the school property. I don't know.
Yeah, it was like a shop class or something.
Yeah, she snuck out through like some side door through the through the school and like locker room. Like what the? Okay, that is bold.
It is, but she's
that also contains
because they already showed her going to school and doing a line or whatever while she's in the bathroom stall.
My favorite one of my favorite bits of dialogue in the movie. You're not a turkey. A turkey's one of the dumbest birds alive. That's what James says to her, and she responds with, "Gobble, gobble, gobble."
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
I know you're going to complain about the melodrama of the scene, but the line is just hilarious. I'm sorry, and it's really sad that she's meeting her guy on the side, James. James sucks. He's like he's in that Chris Isaac mode of like, ugh. This is like one of the worst characters on the show.
Well, to be honest, he's just supposed to be like, I'm the pretty one and I love you and you need to leave this all behind for me. He's not given anything fun to do, to be fair.
I think they tried in the show. In fact, one of the worst plot lines on the show is he gets like, he does some kind of like double indemnity plot line with some older woman. I think in the second season, I don't remember exactly, but yeah, it was garbage.
The stuff with her and Bobby, with the drug deal.
Yeah, and he kills the cop, the deputy from that other town.
Yeah, and she was funny in that scene because she's just like
she's high as a kite and just laughing at the whole thing.
Mind.
Yeah.
Really inappropriate times laughing and making jokes, and Bobby's getting really mad. But yeah, Bobby was definitely more entertaining than James, that's for sure.
Yeah, and the show knows that, and I think they gave like James some kind of head injury and didn't have him talk when he came up in the sequel show. But Bobby gets lines.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, I mean it's mostly him being terrible, but so you have Laura, who is she has been continuously raped by her dad, but she has disassociated and sees her dad differently as this Bob character and knows it's Bob, which is weird. And the dad also disassociates from it all and puts all his evil in another version of himself, who he also names Bob, and they both see Bob looking exactly the same.
Okay, so Bob is a real thing.
Weird. What do you mean Bob is a real thing?
Just what I said. Bob possessed Leland. He is an entity. He is the entity of like all that is evil about men.
See, I just took it as him disassociating, as putting it as it's someone else, but it's him.
That was a theory at one point during the original run of the show, but no, Bob is a real thing because eventually Bob gets into Dale Cooper, Special Agent Cooper.
Right when I was like, you know what, I get what it's trying to do. It's weird that they both see Bob looking exactly the same.
You want me to tell you the origin of Bob?
Not really.
It's really funny.
Oh God.
Bob, I believe, was like the set dresser or the cinematographer, something like that, on the show, and he accidentally ended up in one of the shots, and they just like lurking behind a couch or something like that, and they loved it so much they thought it was creepy and scary that they decided to just make him a character, and they wrote it in as Bob.
Is that why he doesn't really have much dialogue?
Oh yeah,
Just kind of grunts or whatever.
yeah, and looks menacing and scary. Yeah, but you know what? He's genuinely scary at times, like, or creepy when he's coming in through like the window, when he's like hiding behind the armoire or whatever.
I don't know
where
if
she's
there's
got her
anything
diary.
as creepy as that. Actually, no. When he's behind the armoire, I was like, that looks idiotic. That looks so stupid. It looked like, oh, you caught me trying to steal this or something. Like, it looked so terrible.
No.
I thought the creepiest thing was the boy in the white mask with the weird.
The one
nose
dressed up
thing.
like David Lynch.
It was, and then at one point he's just randomly dancing in the street as some characters are walking away. I just, but why? I don't get it. And you sent me a GIF, whatever, of some log woman who ends up popping up at some point.
Log lady, yeah.
That one's stupid. That was another one that was like, why?
She's from the show.
All right, stupid. I hate all of this.
So I take it you have no interest in watching the show afterwards.
Oh, absolutely none.
Oh.
This definitely confirmed. I mean, the only way to get me to watch a David Lynch thing is by having this podcast. This is how you slip one in
Mission
there.
accomplished.
Yeah, because dear Lord.
Wouldn't have been my first choice, but it works. I'm taking it.
Ugh, God.
So what'd you give Laura?
Well, to be fair, I didn't give anything because I didn't do this part of the homework.
So you just did an overall score?
I have nothing. I'm coming into this blind. I want to
Cool.
see if you can convince me.
We'll just, go with my score.
What is your score?
I gave her a 2.
I will.
It's
I
a
will,
genuinely very good performance by Cheryl.
It is a good performance. I will give you that.
Yeah, it's tough performance too. They put her through the ringer. A whole bunch of things she has to do in this movie. And
yeah.
you were genuinely sad at the end when she dies. I mean, she's stuck in the red room with Dale.
Yeah. Why was he there? Is he not there? I don't.
Time in the he eventually ends up there at the end of the second season of the show. He gets stuck there and trapped by Bob, and Bob creates a doppelganger of Dale and enters into that doppelganger and starts walking around doing evil as Mr. C.
That the Gravity Falls show makes so much more sense. Which I loved. I'll just put that out there. Gravity Falls is a great kids show.
Never watched.
Like
It's David Lynch. Heavily Twin Peaksy.
Totally. It's got
Now
some
I might need to watch
X-Files
this.
to it as well. But yeah, it's a Portland type of town.
Oh.
These kids go to live with their great uncle for a summer. At his and he runs a mystery shack or whatever. So it's like all the weird things of he claims he has like something from Bigfoot and all this other kind of weird stuff. So like tourist trap type stuff. He's a horrible person, degenerate, the uncle, as they're like working for him, and they run into some weird stuff. There's a lot of weird stuff going on in this town.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's one of the best things my kids have gotten into. I was cool with that show. It was good. I think you'd like it. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna slot in a 2.
Yeah.
But I can totally be willing, depending on the final score of this movie, to go down to a 1.5 in this category, and the half would be for her good acting. Otherwise, I felt this character was mostly annoying. She was just.
You thought Laura Palmer was annoying?
You understood why she was horrible by the time you get to the end of it, but it's not like she was a total fun person to be around a whole lot, you know? So, yeah.
Okay.
So who's the villain?
The villain is Bob.
Is it?
Yeah, a.k.a. Ray Wise, who's playing Leland Palmer.
He's barely in it.
I know. Movie could have used a lot more Leland Palmer. Ray Wise is such a good and underutilized actor by Hollywood. I don't know why he's in a lot more. The guy is charming as hell. And honestly, it's one of the best performances on the original show, Ray Wise. Because yeah. Because you just see him you don't know he killed his daughter. You don't find that out until like halfway through the second season because the studio just like demanded they give him an answer because it was the hot question. Who killed Laura Palmer? But the show starts off with him being just, regular distraught father, right?
Right.
And then you see him just like slowly lose his mind. Like his hair turns totally white at one point and everything like that. And it's a really good performance. It's funny and sad and scary because he can do it all.
I thought he did a good job in one scene, but at the same time,
the dinner table scene.
Yeah, it was really weird.
Yeah,
that
he's
he
really
had
good in that.
Such a reaction like that.
Wash your hands. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Stir it on his fingernail.
Yeah, but it was a good, it was a good solid moment. But
yeah, he's great. It's just like I said, he's threatening, creepy, intense. That whole scene because of him. He's just phenomenal at it.
I guess it's also freaking deranged and all over the place.
And he also killed Teresa Banks, the girl from the opening of the movie.
And I'm assuming that means he killed the agent that disappeared?
No, I think he just disappeared into the Red Room because he touched the ring. Not supposed to touch the ring. What? The owl ring.
But it was Teresa's ring.
Later on, or so I think at some point we find out that ring is not, it just kind of gets passed down to people who are going to get sucked into the Red Room or something.
She's wearing it in a picture.
Yeah. But she was complaining about like the ring causing her issues. She found it and it's like making her arm go numb and yeah.
Oh, I do remember the line about her arm going numb.
Yeah.
But that's ridiculous to have to piece that together. Like, what?
Well, there's also a bunch of books, and there's like a half an hour of this movie that's been deleted. It's called like I forget what's it, the Lost Minutes or something like that. That you can watch in the special features.
So he got trapped in the. Is that what
he
you're
has
saying?
literally never been seen since this movie. That character, yeah. We don't know exactly where he went, but he's trapped somewhere else.
He found the ring under the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
In a dirt pile. Like it was a literally raised mound dirt pile.
Yeah.
And he goes to pick it up and that's it. He's just gone.
Thankfully. I mean, really. Thank God.
It's just so dumb. so dumb.
I didn't mind a second of him just being gone because he was rough to watch. It's especially rough because he's playing against Kiefer Sutherland. It's like, Kiefer's good. Why can't you?
I actually thought the worst part was him interacting with the sheriff.
Yeah, where he's pretending to be a tough guy. Yeah.
And then they're saying like jokes and they're all like at the joke. It's like, oh, all of this is bad. It's just all of this so bad. I hated it. Patrick, did I tell you I hate this movie?
Multiple times. So I love the scene too where Leland is driving his daughter to breakfast. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and they get confronted by Mike and they have that freak out.
Is that Mike?
Yeah.
But she saw Mike in this car.
Mm-hmm.
Yelling at them.
Yeah.
But Mike is Leland.
No. Mike is not Leland.
I hate this. I hate this movie.
Mike is a former associate of Bob. And he has possessed this traveling shoe salesman, I think. some kind of traveling salesman. I forget his name. And he used to be a serial killer with Bob, but then he realized that...
Is this more show stuff?
Yeah. What they were doing was wrong, and he cut off his arm to atone, and is now trying to work against Bob.
So that was Mike in that car yelling gibberish
Yeah.
at him.
Yeah.
Was that Mike that randomly showed up at the train?
Yeah. Yes, it was Mike.
Who just walked away as Laura dies?
Nothing he could do. She was already gone. He saved one life, but he wasn't able to save Laura.
To be fair, I don't think he saved any lives.
No, he saved that one girl.
No, because it ended up being Leland that kicks her out.
No, there were two girls in the cattle car.
I know, and Leland's the one that kicks her out. Bob didn't do anything. He couldn't open the door.
Well, Mike opened the door, and then he was able to pull that one girl out who was already on there.
No, Leland kicked her out.
He got her away. I don't know what to tell you. She's alive, and she's during the second show.
This is why I was thinking, like, okay, so he's got this split dissociated states. So that was him as Mike taking over and kicking the other girl out. So he was able to get one, and that's why he just walks off, disappears, because Bob personality took over. And apparently that's not what's going on. And there's all this. I hate this. Okay. Dum da dum dum dum.
Anyway, I love Ray Wise in this movie. It's a shame he's not in more of it, but he's great every time he's on screen. I still love him. You want to see that quick spot of him where he sees his daughter. He hires Teresa Banks as his regular prostitute or whatever, regular sex worker, and he's like, "Why don't you bring some friends?" And he sees one of the friends is his daughter, and that's why she tries to blackmail him, and that's when he kills her. And I think that kind of sets it up for when
do you ever get to
the final showdown with him and Laura.
Him getting blackmailed though? I don't.
No,
you imply it basically.
No, you hear the conversation at the I don't know what the whorehouse or whatever, because he's saying like Teresa was blackmailing somebody. She said she was going to get rich.
Oh yeah. I do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was hard because the music is purposely so loud.
There's subtitles, thankfully.
So much of that is mouthed where you can barely hear it, kind of stuff.
Well, what's wild is on some of the prints originally there were no subtitles whatsoever.
Oh, good luck. Christ.
Yeah, it was like he was going back and forth whether to have it or not, and then he ran out of time, and so some of the prints didn't have subtitles. So those poor people who had to watch it originally that way. Yeah. But I gave Leland a 2. Leland and Bob.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 1.
Okay.
I do like that one scene, but that's I don't think there's enough here. That's
And I love the panic on Leland's face too when like he realizes he's about to, not under his control, kill his daughter. And like the cries of anguish from both him and Laura. It's good stuff.
Okay.
All right. There's no stunts in this movie, so the action is very, very slim.
Yeah.
So just the horrifying stuff in this movie, the Bob reveal in Laura's bedroom, I think is a good reveal.
With the dresser? No, that was awful.
Yeah, thought it was good. I thought Bob coming in through the Laura's window and raping her is like really horrifying stuff. Just
it's
so
just weird
gross
why
and
she's
awful.
like almost. Is it because of the drugs? Because they do show her taking coke. Every before she goes to bed. Before she goes to bed.
Yeah, I think it was the drugs.
Okay, but I mean, I couldn't have been. I mean, she's 12. She's 12, right? But
yeah, I think the drugs came later for that part.
Yeah, for sure. No, I was gonna think about there was a couple times with like the one time where she goes to meet the agoraphobe. And she randomly has like the white and black makeup, and it says "Firework would be" like randomly kind of deal. I was like, oh, all right, that was kind of that was a little weird, freaky, but all right. And I think at one point Leland does that too.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, makes no sense, and none of that is explained. And is that something that those characters are seeing or not?
They're
I don't know.
technically both connected to the Red Room. First because of Bob's possession, and for other reasons with Laura, which we don't find out until the sequel series years later.
Cool. Is Laura in the sequel series?
Yes.
Okay.
Laura pops up. Her soul is still trapped in the Red Room, along with Cooper, and she busts out in a very weird way. But the show tries to go into the explanation of why Bob is so obsessed with Laura Palmer. Yep. It's a weird show. It's mostly vibes, but I enjoy the vibes. I don't know what to tell you. Sometimes they don't work, sometimes they do. And then, like I said, the murder of Laura Palmer at the end with you get this. It's just so sad and violent. You got the strobe effect, the bloody
it's a
knife.
strobe effect, but you don't actually see it.
Anguish screams. No. You don't see anything. No blood.
Nothing's
or anything, really.
nothing's actually scary or anything. It's just
No, it's not scary, but it's just like it's so
messed up.
horrifying to watch. Yeah.
It's messed up.
Yeah. So I gave it a 1 this part.
Incest obviously is
Yeah, it's not fun.
never good. Yeah, would you give it? Sorry.
A 1.
Oh, good. There we go. We agree on that one. I also give it a 1.
I told you, listen, I don't think this movie is great at all.
Okay. I'm still shocked it's not your lowest.
No, but there's still stuff in here that I find more interesting than in some of the horror movies we watched, and I would probably revisit it just because I'm a Twin Peaks fan. So
I will never watch this piece of shit again.
Okay. I do not care. So let's get into my favorite part, sidekicks for this movie.
Is it the friend?
Well, I'm going to go into all of them. We
all
got
right.
a whole prologue and everything. So, I said, Chris Isaac, singer of Wicked Games, I guess, plays Agent Chester Desmond. He's only in this. Yes, he sucks. I've mentioned that multiple times.
Yep.
He's only in this movie because Kyle MacLachlan didn't really want to be in a lot of it. He was only willing to work a couple days.
Wouldn't it made more sense if the Bowie part was him? Especially with the room shit, and that's where he got trapped, and he was
Bowie. Bowie was supposed to have a bigger part in one of the sequels. He was supposed to have found another way into the Black Lodge, which contains the Red Room, in Argentina or something like that, somewhere in South America. And that was what the sequel was going to be. Just him finding this other room, this other way to get in.
Thank you.
And he's been trapped there.
Letting this happen. So
he was going to get a big part in The Return, or at least a part in the Twin Peaks: The Return, and tragically we lost Bowie, so he didn't get to be in it. And he got replaced by a coffee maker, I believe. Just letting that one go by, huh?
Yeah, I don't really care. The dude from the show. Does he have some extra ability type stuff that he's like? Because at one point before Bowie pops up, he knows Bowie or something is coming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's weird,
so
isn't it?
Standing in the hallway, then going to the camera, and then going in the hall and doing that whole thing, and then he really did. And then of course he's got to kill again, and so I'm waiting. So he's got this premeditation or whatever you call it, precognition type stuff going on.
Yeah, they never really put like a real label on it, but he does seem to be sensitive and intuitive about a lot of things. That's why he's such an excellent special agent.
Sure. Is there more explanation in the head of this stupid FBI organization on why he is the way he is?
Well, it's David Lynch.
Well,
playing the part.
Yeah, you could tell.
He's deaf, and the character is deaf, and he screams a lot because he's wearing that hearing aid, and it's funny.
Oh, okay. It's just sure.
Yeah, it's just there because it's funny. It's a character.
That's for sure.
I always enjoy every time it popped up on the show and in the movie. That just makes me laugh.
Oh. No, it just made me do my usual why.
Okay.
Just why. And they're like the FBI, right? And
yeah, they are the FBI.
Right? And it's doing all this stuff at like a corporate kind of headquarters, right? Type of thing.
They're in Philadelphia headquarters, yeah.
Right, but it looks so
Cheap.
yeah, really bad. Like really, we got no budget here, and it's just gonna be me at a desk in a big empty building.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you there, but yeah, that's true.
Yep.
Okay. So what'd you think of Kyle MacLachlan as Special Agent Dale Cooper?
He's barely in it.
I know. I wish you got to see more of him. He is one of the great actor-character combos. I mean, just perfectly casted. And it's an absolute bummer we don't get more of him in this movie. The little we do get is such a breath of fresh air after having to deal with like 15 minutes of Chris Isaac. It's like, ugh.
He barely talks. Does he have like a full page of dialogue in this movie? Like I don't think so. Like it's
well, he predicts like Laura Palmer's murder.
He knows there's gonna be another person killed. He knows
and I enjoy him going to
and then he's got a weird thing figuring out what's going on with Bowie. And then he's standing in the room at the end.
And he's investigating what happened to Chester Desmond when he goes to the trailer park. That's where you get to see him shine a little bit for me.
Oh yeah, there was. To be honest, I thought, what's his name?
Harry Dean Stanton.
Yeah, the trailer park guy.
Yeah, Harry Dean Stanton.
Yeah. I thought he was.
He's great in this movie.
He's fantastic. He's
so
great in everything he's in. To be honest, but like, I was more taken back by him. You know, as he's like, that's not where I told you. And he's like, yeah, I know. And he goes off. But I was more like his mannerisms and the way he delivered the lines is so much better. I thought blew the other guy out of the water without a doubt.
I think it's just because you don't know.
I don't know any of the
character.
Context. I don't know any context in this movie. You know what I mean? It's difficult because like I feel like there was probably like the log lady popping up there's probably so many things that people like fanboys like that I'm like I have no context to care about this at all. Like all these people in this room that keep popping up throughout.
Well, this is why like a half an hour of the movie got deleted because they were trying to cut this down as much as possible. But as someone who has watched the show, it's a really fun character because he's like this super sincere, positive thinking FBI agent. I don't know. It's if you watch it, you'd understand. It's good stuff.
Yeah, well, it's not in this movie.
There's some of it in this movie, not enough. Harry Dean Stanton as Carl Rodd, the owner-operator of the trailer park, is maybe the highlight of the movie.
Which is sad because he also is a very short part. He's mostly in the prologue.
Comes back for the return. They bring him back for a few episodes. But he's got two of the best lines. God damn, that trailer's more popular than Uncle's Day at the Whorehouse. Which I had to pause and take a laugh at that one.
Yeah.
And God damn, these people are confusing when Dale Cooper just goes in the opposite direction and he told them where to go look.
Yep.
When he says that these people are confusing, I felt like he was the audience circuit there for a second. Like
it's probably why I gravitated towards him for sure.
Yeah.
But no, I mean he puts I guess I really love when somebody can express a lot on their face without saying a whole lot.
He's got a face. He's got one of those faces.
He's got such an expressive face, and I love it.
Moira Kelly is here to step in for Lara Flynn Boyle, who played Donna Hayward on the show. And Moira Kelly is terrible. She always has been, and probably always will be. I don't know.
Donna's the one that she had to save or whatever.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize that they're played by two different characters from the show to the movie. Okay.
Lara Flynn Boyle played the character in the original show.
I feel like
she was too busy to do this.
Smart move.
They very pale with dark hair, so they look vaguely alike, I guess. But yeah, I don't like Moira Kelly. She bothers me. Why? And and it's the most boring character on the show.
Well, she's supposed to be vanilla,
Donna,
clearly.
Yeah, and but like Lara Flynn Boyle has a little bit of an edge to her, where I think Moira Kelly is just blah.
Yeah.
So that's all. It made the blah
embodies
character even
the
more blah.
the vanilla part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right.
Well, I mean, I guess it's like they're that good of friends that she's gonna prostitute with her. Okay.
Well, she looks up to Laura, and I don't know. I guess she's like, if this is what you do, I'll do it too. I don't know. Or she was trying to maybe scare her out of it. I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, if that was the goal, then it worked as you were drugged out of your mind.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That wasn't. She got roofied.
Right. Well, it's drugs. She's still drugged out of her mind. Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah. Well, because
it's not coke.
Took the drugs. This one got roofied. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also enjoy Jacques' one line of "I'm as blank as a fart." That made me laugh.
Okay. He had a lot of weird, like, tripped out lines in that sequence, but okay.
All right, but there's a bajillion side characters with small parts in this that I
really
enjoy.
The one I probably enjoyed the most is Bobby. Like, it's kind of weird, but
wow. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I know. I just thought, like, there was enough with Bobby there with, like, having this, loves this girl, but clearly doesn't give a crap about him, but he still can't seem to stop. I thought the humor when he kills the undercover cop with the drugs thing was really funny. I enjoyed him and Laura in that scene. I was more okay with Bobby than anything else. I thought the mom, I would have loved to hear more from the mom, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, you do in the TV show.
Yeah, not interested enough.
Sure. Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Do you remember her, by the way? Did you recognize her at all?
Yes, it did. There's quite a few people I recognized in this movie.
Sure, yeah. She played Bill Paxton's mom on Big Love.
Okay, yeah. The Happy Gilmore's grandma.
Yep, she's here too. Yep.
I want to say there was a few others I recognized.
It's Mrs. Tremont. You got Miguel Ferrer, Bob Morton from RoboCop.
Oh, yep. Noticed that one. I was really excited, but it was really quick.
It's a real tragedy. He only gets a few episodes on the show, and he is amazing.
You get some lines like, it's war. It's fantastic.
It's more like everyone around me is a moron, and he just tells everyone to the face how stupid they are.
Now, see, that's your most convincing thing to watch the show is just for that.
Did you enjoy Heather Graham's quick cameo?
Okay, because I saw this when I was reading up, and I did not catch it. And I was like, "What? Heather Graham was in this movie?" So who enlightened me? Who?
Heather Graham played Annie. She was a character, I think, only in the second season of the show, and she became a love interest for Dale Cooper. After he gets possessed, we don't actually see it. We read about it later. She gets, I think, murdered by Bob, who is possessing a doppelganger of Dale Cooper. And she sent a message to Laura to let everyone know that, write in your diary that the good Dale is trapped. And eventually people get that message.
And that was going on in this movie.
Yep. Now, like I said, the things that happen in the Red Room don't correspond to linear time. So it's all happening kind of at the same time inside that room.
Okay.
Yep. You got the otherworldly gorgeous Machen Amick playing Shelley Johnson at the diner. She doesn't get much to do in this movie, which is a shame because she's a lot of fun in the show.
Yeah. Don't recall.
You remember the other girl working at the diner who didn't want to hang out with, didn't want to help with Meals on Wheels with Laura?
Not really.
Okay. Well, she's actually having an affair with Bobby.
Bobby, okay.
Yeah, which is why she doesn't want to hang out with Laura.
Gotcha.
And she is married to Leo, who is the other guy in that cabin with Jacques that was planning on raping the two girls. The guy with the ponytail.
Right, but Okay, so that's her. That's Laura, one of Laura's prostitute besties.
Yes.
Okay, because I didn't quite pick up on that right away when you see her cleaning. I don't know. He's mad about cleaning something on the floor or something, and so
Yeah. With his wife Shelley. Yeah.
yeah, it took me a while to pick up on. Oh, that's the same.
Yeah, he's
girl.
selling drugs to Bobby.
Right.
Let's see. We got, like we said, Mary mentioned Kiefer Sutherland. Jurgen Prochnow has a quick cameo in this movie. No lines, unfortunately. What'd you think of? What's his name? I want to say his actual name. It's like the arm. God, Michael J. Anderson, the little man, who speaks backwards.
I really don't have an opinion.
You think it was like fun and creepy? I always kind of got like what they did when they
Not
have people
really.
talk in the red room. They have them record their lines backwards and then they played them in reverse, so it sounds so weird like that. I dig it.
Okay. Yeah. No, because I think everything is done. What's the right way to put this? It's like everything is done with such a view or thought to be so off-putting and so weird and so eccentric, and it over convolutedness that I think it does more harm than good. Like I think it does more to suck you out of it than
I think it's almost impossible to be a fan of this movie if you haven't watched the show and been a fan of the show. So I don't blame you for not liking this.
To be fair, I kind of feel that way with Lynch a lot of the times. Like I feel like that's kind of the epitome of David Lynch. Like it's just so much and so convoluted and so much metaphor, and I'm so clever and smart, and
I don't think he's ever
does,
trying to outsmart his audience.
I think
he's just trying to do.
I think that's what he's doing. But
no,
if
you've ever listened to an interview with him, that's not what he's like. I'm smarter than you. I think he's just more interested in vibes and art than he is in like narrative storytelling, which can be really frustrating to watch as a viewer if you're not up to like in that mode.
Yeah, I do have issues with narrative sometimes, so I just don't naturally gel well with someone like him.
So I gave Sidekicks a 2.5. I love the wealth of like side characters, and they're just fun.
Yeah, I want one.
Okay. So I gave this movie a 7.5.
7.5?
Yeah, I enjoy it more than Dr. Giggles and Split Second. I'm more likely to watch this movie again, instead of those movies.
Man, yeah, no, I think I disagree. I might have to change a score.
Oh.
I might hate one movie more.
Yeah, Split Second.
I really hate Split Second.
Satan needs his hearts.
This is, oh man.
Well, while you're thinking about that.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna. What was Okay, so Split Second was 6 points.
Mm-hmm.
And I have this movie at like a 5 right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna go 2 for villain.
Yeah.
So then it's the same score, at least a Split Second, and I'm putting it over Split Second.
Okay. So 2 different scores again.
Yeah, I knew that was gonna happen for this movie.
So did I.
To be honest, I was expecting you to put it a lot higher.
No. Budget of $10 million, a little under $22 million today. Worldwide gross of a little over $4.1 million, which is over $9.1 million today. Did not do well.
I wonder why.
Yeah, well, you know what? I think the audience was burned out on Twin Peaks to begin with, because he left the show, David Lynch, and like the show stopped being as good.
What?
Like how
long was it on?
2 years.
Okay.
Like the studio, like just like ABC, just forced them to wrap the story up, and they're like, "No, this is the central conceit of the whole show. Who killed Laura Palmer? You can't have us wrap this thing up now."
Yeah.
And after they wrapped it up, the ratings plummeted. Like people didn't want to watch anymore.
Right.
And yeah, it was just they just got weirder and stranger, but like more for stranger's sake. And David Lynch wasn't involved anymore. Yeah, just didn't go well. So debuted at number 7 in its first weekend of release, losing to Honeymoon in Vegas in its first weekend of release.
Yeah.
Unforgiven in its second weekend, and Pet Sematary 2 in its first weekend of release.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Yeah.
Well, you have it at 10. I have it at 11. Oddly, not that far off from each other.
Yeah, see? I told you, I'm not insane about this movie.
You realize it's garbageness.
I wouldn't call it great. I wouldn't call it good. But I find it more interesting than Dr. Giggles or Split Second. And I would probably watch just because I'm a Twin Peaks fan. And just for like completionist sake.
Yeah, okay.
So what are we watching next week, Tim?
All right. This is another tricky one for me. I think I there is so many horror comedies, but I need something that after this. I need something that's like assured good times that I'm gonna enjoy the heck out of it. Okay. So I'm going with Army of Darkness.
Oh.
Yeah. Good times.
Hail to the king, baby.
Turn this back up.
Yeah.
Sharp as smart. We're doing
That's
it.
right.
Yeah.
Love Army of Darkness.
It's a good time. It's always a good time.
Yep.
I imagine this one's gonna be pretty high.
I would imagine so.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty high.
I'm like, spoiler it, I'm gonna rate this higher than Twin Peaks Sidewalk.
Oh, without a doubt, right? Without a doubt, it's gonna be high. I mean, it's just how high is it gonna be?
Shocked if this movie is not in my top 5.
Oh, it's without a doubt gonna be in the top 5 for me, for sure. Like I already predict something's getting bumped for sure.
Not my favorite Evil Dead movie, but
no,
it's a great one.
No, I think it's still 2.
Yeah.
But this one's still pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It's just too much fun.
All
right, bam. That is it for us. Please show your support for the podcast by leaving a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, or if you happen to listen to the show. Also, sharing is caring. Be sure to follow us on social media to get the latest show updates. You can contact us by emailing at filmbrochamp@gmail.com or find us by searching for the hashtag filmbrochamp. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Film Bros Championship Podcast. Peace out, everyone.
One day my log will have something to say about this.